there are kind of there's one big thing that can happen that can make a big difference, and that's transparency. And it's transparency, I think, first off, in talking honestly about oil. You know, Donald Rumsfeld quite famously said before the invasion of Iraq, this has nothing, literally nothing to do about oil. And of course it did had quite a bit to do about oil. Not everything, as some of the biggest critics said, but it did. And you can't know how oil plays into it. You can't decide whether or not it's justified or not unless you talk openly and honestly about oil. And it's obviously a third rail of sorts for politicians here. But we need to somehow be able to allow this discussion to happen, because if it doesn't, then we end up invading countries for reasons that we're not even aware of. And there's another kind of transparency that I think needs to happen, and that is how much oil there is. There's a big question about whether or not actually, in addition to all the other problems of war and the problems of corruption, et cetera, there's enough oil to keep kind of supplying us either at the same level we're at now or increasing. Most of the countries that have oil, Saudi Arabia, et cetera, do not provide independently audited figures. So we have no way of knowing, and there are a lot of skeptics out there who say that actually we're at the peak of oil production and we're going to be bumping up against it if we're not there already, which can cause all kinds of economic problems, which might have been the reason that oil shot up to $147 a barrel last year. So we need transparency in terms of knowing how much oil is left, and that transparency is not there. And then the final kind of transparency is about money. With the vast majority of these kind of not friendly countries, or say not friendly to their citizens, they're friendly to us, negotiations are secret, contracts are secret, money flows are secret. The reason that Teodoro Obiang was able to stash several $100 million in these bank accounts in Equatorial Guinea is because nobody knew how much money was being received. Nobody could track where it was going. And there's some great movements afoot. Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, which involves a lot of governments. Publish What You Pay, which is a non-governmental effort to force companies and governments to publish money flows. How much is being paid from the companies, how much has been received by the governments. And if you have that kind of transparency, then you can track the money. You can make sure it's not stolen, and you can do your best to ensure that when it is used well, and it's not wasted.